Joining me now for more on the removal of U.S. Attorney Geoffrey Berman is Senator Sheldon, Whitehouse, Democrat of Rhode Island. He's a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, the committee that confirmed Attorney General Barr. He previously served as a U.S. Attorney himself, the U.S. Attorney for Rhode Island. And in that capacity, as a senator on the Judiciary Committee, as a man who held a job similar to Geoffrey Berman's, what did you make of this when you heard this Friday night? What is this?
I don't know. It's somewhere between the Gong Show and that black comedy, The Death of Stalin. It's just such an array of misfires. First of all, there's the lie about the U.S. attorney resigning. Then it turns out that nobody bothered to tell Barr, or they'd forgotten, that this was a judicially appointed U.S. attorney, a rare thing. So it's actually not clear that Barr can fire him, which gave him the leverage to hold out and demand that instead of the New Jersey U.S. attorney coming in, that his own Southern District of New York deputy would take over, again, in the ordinary course. And then they also forgot that there's a blue slip in the Senate Judiciary Committee. So actually, the new appointee, who they supposedly wanted to be Jay Clayton, would have to go through Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand before they could get there. So the amateurishness and the obvious oversights, I mean, it's kind of fire the associate quality work here. So all of that suggests, because Barr is not an idiot, that there are some very powerful forces working just beneath the surface to explain all this peculiarity.
Well, I mean, there's a mystery here that to me is unsolved, right? I mean, clearly something happened. There was some predicate for this. There was some precipitating incident. There's some reporting today about it being an open letter about, a statement of interest in the Department of Justice on Bill de Blasio's opening. I don't quite buy that. But it just seems to me that it's someone's job, I don't know, the Senate Judiciary Committee, the House Judiciary Committee, to actually get to the bottom. Like, we should know what happened here, right?
Yes, we should know what happened here. And if we had gavels in the Senate, we would find out. Chairman Nadler does have a gavel in the House, and I hope and expect he will continue to look into this, because it all just smells really rancid. I think part of it might be that they want to humble the famous sovereign District of New York, which is why you bring a New Jersey U.S. attorney to oversee it as a part-time job. There's always been a rivalry between Main Justice and the so-called sovereign district, but just the bad lawyering here and the slipshod facts and being caught lying twice, first by Berman and second by the president saying, hey, I had nothing to do with this, when Barr said that this was the president's call. It all just smacks of amateurism and bizarre motivations.
Yeah, we had the president saying we have a very capable attorney general, so that's really up to him. I'm not involved, which, again, do you believe the president on this? Who knows? We're dealing with a bunch of people who don't have a lot of credibility. But we do know that there's precedent here. I mean, in the D.C. district, right? You've got a situation where they did move out the U.S. attorney. They sort of fake promoted her, then they rescinded the nomination, then they have loyalists there, and they've kind of gone to town with that. I mean, that is where they have undermined career prosecutors to suggest a lighter sentence for Roger Stone, leading to resignations. That's where they have attempted to drop charges against Michael Flynn that was so irregular and bizarre that a federal district judge has basically said, like, hold up, and appointed a retired judge to take the other side of the case. So they have run this play in D.C. before. There is some precedent for what it looks like they're trying to do.
Not only have they run this play, but they really got their fingers burned trying to run it. As the professional prosecutors left the case, and when Judge Gleason, the specially appointed retired judge, came in, he wrote a blistering condemnation of what was going on. I mean, stunning by a former judge. So all of that really looked horrible for the Department of Justice. And the fact that they would try to replay it while their fingers are still scorched from the last maneuver is, again, it's just really, really peculiar.
Well, I hope that we get some clarity from Mr. Berman himself in the near future on what exactly went down there. I know the people in that who work in that office are pretty flummoxed and unnerved by the sequence of events. Senator Sheldon, Whitehouse, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.